My tears flowed freely as I listened to the victim impact statements, February 2nd, 2012. As this story is now a matter of public record, as well as being on the news on both radio and TV, I will acknowledge that the story about JD is actually about Stephanie Beckley. Stephanie has given her permission for me to tell her story about why she was so depressed in the Calgary airport just over a week ago. I met with Steph and a few of her friends last evening over supper. This is the first time I have seen her since she left Knighton several years ago. I listen carefully to what she says and how she says it, as well as to the comments of her friends. I offer suggestions I feel are appropriate. When we part, we agree to meet in the morning at the provincial courthouse in downtown Edmonton. It was a productive and friendly visit. In the morning, I enter the courthouse and am subject to the same kind of security one would get when boarding a plane. Remove jacket, vest, cap, coins, any metal objects from pockets. I buzz through the metal detector, so it's arms up and the wand makes its way up, down, front, and back. Cleared, I check the electronic bulletin board and find out which room is being used for Steph's sentence hearing. It is obvious that a very large number of the victim's family is gathering. I go over and offer my condolences to the victim's father, explaining who I am. Mr. Chi thanks me and explains that saddest of all, Laura's grandmother has just passed away before seeing a conclusion to this tragedy, and her funeral will be held tomorrow. Sadness heaped upon sadness. To backtrack a bit, approximately 10 months ago, I sent Steph a message recommending she be careful about what she posts on Facebook. In addition, a few months later, I sent another message telling her in no uncertain terms that she will be going to jail, and make a strong recommendation that she tell her lawyer that she should accept responsibility for her actions and plead guilty. In addition, she should express remorse for her actions last January 21st for driving impaired, running a red light, and causing an accident which took the life of a young lady. I hear nothing more about my message until I find out a couple of weeks ago that there will be no trial, only a sentencing hearing. Steph has pleaded guilty, so there will be no trial, and the two lawyers meet to decide on an appropriate sentence. Prior to being called into the courtroom, I asked Steph if she'll be making a direct apology to the victims, Laura Chi's family. She says her lawyer recommends she not make such a statement. I find that strange, but who am I? In court, the judge explains that the lawyers are making a joint submission, which means they have agreed upon a suitable sentencing for Steph. He also explains that he can accept or modify their recommendation only if they fall outside of several other previous cases in similar circumstances. Examples quoted by both lawyers indicate that similar cases fall mostly between 2 and 4 year jail sentences. So both recommend and agree on 3 years plus 5 years prohibited from driving a vehicle. After the two lawyers present their submissions, it is time for Laura Chi's family and friends to make their victim impact statements. These are very emotional, and it is not long before I am in tears. Laura's mother is sobbing uncontrollably at the back, and I pray for relief from this horrible pain for all of Laura's family. After approximately 15 minutes, he returns and explains that he has considered the lawyer's submissions and must agree, since they are within the limits set by the majority of cases cited by both. He does add that if the lawyers had not made a joint submission recommending 3 years, he would have sentenced Steph to 4 years, because on the night of January 21st, her alcohol level was 0.180, more than twice the legal limit of 0.08. In addition, bail conditions at the time of Steph's release required her to seek counseling for alcohol addiction, and she failed to comply with that condition. He also commented that he was disappointed that Steph had chosen not to speak to the victim's family to show her true remorse for her actions of January 21st. He considered this to be a missed opportunity. After hearing what the judge had to say, I had to agree with him. I sincerely hope that Steph uses her time in jail to turn her life around. so she can be a good mother to her son and daughter. Last evening, Steph indicated that she will use the time to better herself. If she is a model prisoner, then she will qualify to her first parole hearing after serving 1/3 of her sentence, which means she could get out as early as 1 year from today. Steph was immediately handcuffed and escorted out of the courtroom by a sheriff, with no opportunity to speak to anyone present.